Good evening to all our participants. I'm Anupama Thakur, and I'm the chair of IEEE ACSIR CSIO Student Branch Chandigarh. And I'm currently pursuing PhD at CSIR CSIO. And today we are basically, this is an Women's Forum event which will discuss the leadership and empowerment for women. But I'm happy to share that today it's the participants that we have are not limited to women. We have many male participants also. And I'm also glad to share that the event under which we are organizing this, that is the IEEE Women in Engineering Society. So that society also encourages men to enroll in that society. The IEEE even does not have the society limited to women. So similarly, we have focused on having both participation, male and female, for this event, and we encourage your participation. And thank you. We have three speakers with us, and those are women in law and women in social service, then women in business and women in engineering. So basically, I would like to introduce our first speaker, who is Ms. Gayatri. So Ms. Gayatri is currently the advocate at High Court Bombay, and she is an active volunteer of DIA, that is Divine India Youth Association Mumbai chapter, and she's LLB from Government Law College of Mumbai University and LNM from Mumbai University. She's a mother of two and always has strived to manage time for society, upliftment, and women empowerment initiatives. So, with this brief intro, I welcome you, ma'am, for your talk, and we look forward for women empowerment and leadership from you. Welcome, ma'am. Yes, Rishabh, you can start.
Thank you, Anupama. Can you hear me? Ah, thank you for inviting me on this forum. Extend my gratitude to the forum and thinking that I should being making me part of this. And well, I welcome one and all for this session. Since Anupama has already introduced me, I'm an advocate and working on the social front. So my whole presentation will deliver me on the both the front, on the law front and the society front. So let's today's topic is for me is a law role society and law in women empowerment. Can we go to the next slide if you don't mind? Uh, till we go to the next slide, let's talk about the people on the picture. They are actually my masters whom I follow, and they have guided me that women come from different strata, but if empowered can achieve in a life. Left side the Pandit Sri Ram Acharya and right side was Mata Bhagavati Devi Sharma. They have founded Allwell Gayatri Parivar and Divine India Youth Association is the youth movement of that. Let's come back to our topic. Our slide is on the screen. Empowered woman. The moment it's become a buzzword. Woman empowerment. Everywhere where you go, the moment and you see somebody talking about empowerment. But what we understand, what the definition we understand about empowerment, for me, if you ask me, the definition of empowerment is very simple. It is a process of becoming strong and confident, not only physically, that you achieve certain degree academically, you are good, or you have very physically fit, but also economically, mentally strong, spiritually strong, and physically psychologically strong. And this will lead to take a well-informed decision in your life, whether it is a private life, public life, or in social life, whatever the way you go, but you are firm, you are well informed about your rights, well informed about and well supported by the society and your other surrounding you, and you take proper decision. That's what is empowerment mean for me. So let's see how the woman empowerment was focused by the law. I have divided this session for with respect to law is between constitutional law, provisional under IPC, and spatial law. Let's go to the next slide, which deals with the constitutional law, which are in the favor of women empowerment and women protection. Can we move to next slide? Next.
Ma'am, I'm on the article slide.
Yes, perfect. That's one. So whether whoever uh, drafted Constitution of India, they are well aware in Indian society, women are quite left behind. And even though that time was a challenging time, still they have made a provision to upliftment for women, protection of her right, and also from time to time legislation and for with amendment, the constitution is upgraded and incorporated what are the rights or the privileges should be given to the woman, provisions should be given to the woman, so they can come at to the par in the society. Let's deal with the some articles. Article 14. These are the fundamental rights which I am going to go through. These are at most whatever the legislation, but they always uphold the article fundamental rights. Article 14 deals with the equal protection of law within territory of India to the woman. Article 15 prohibits the discrimination, but 15.3 specially empowers to make a provision for woman and child. So positive discrimination, making a law in favor of woman is allowed by our article. This is a fundamental right I'm talking about, 15.3. Article 16 deals with the equality of opportunity, where the woman has equal opportunity, right to equal opportunity in public employment. Article 19 1A, when we talk about that all citizens shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression. Many times what women's view is not considered. This is the article which supports our voice. We can raise our voice and we can express freely by speech or expression, whatever the means. Article 19 1G, right to choose profession, occupation. So once we are here with this forum where all are educated and one or other way, we are not only at home but in the society and we are contributing in the organization upliftment of country. So whatever the profession you choose or whatever the occupation choose, you are free to choose. As a woman, you have a right to choose it. Nobody deals with the right to liberty. Here, the right is recognized, deals with the directive principle of state policy, where the government has to make a law, and that has to those laws according to these articles, those laws has to be made. And later on we'll come to the third slide that deals with the special laws. Here 39A. Hello, you can hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, yes, I am able to hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me, right? Oh, okay. Okay. No, same slide, the same article slide. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
So when you are dealing with 39A, which is Director Principal State Policy, where the woman and men both are equal right for adequate means of livelihood. Nobody can deny your livelihood. At the same time, a man is entitled for that. Article 39D deals with the equal pay for equal work. If man and woman both are doing the same job and same level, woman is entitled for equal work as the man gets, or man gets equal payment as the woman gets. 39A to promote justice on basis of equal opportunity. 39A is one of steps where many times a woman doesn't go for the legal aid, doesn't go to the claiming their right. There it is a rescue article which you can say that where woman has a right for free legal aid. They can not earning, whether you can support yourself or not, but you can claim a legal aid, free legal aid. Now come to the Article 42. Article 42 especially deals with the provision or benefit of women to in respect of securing just and human condition of work. The definition of just and human condition of work will come later, but it's giving surrounding where if she's working, she can economically stable, she can make proper decisions, she can work on her growth, she can work on her well-being. That is the focus of Article 42. Let's come to the last article, Article 51AE. This is the citizens' fundamental duties. Our constitution is given a duty of citizen, imposed duty on a citizen to renounce any practice derogatory to the dignity of woman. So if you see the broad aspect, they have covered many things in our constitution. There are many other articles which deals with further legal rights of the woman, which comes in further. But these are the main structure. And looking into structure and time to time, law, our legislature has thought to bring the new laws in the action in proper way. That comes to the. Can we go to the next slide where we can deal with the criminal laws in respect of women's empowerment and protection? Thank you. So we went to the Constitution of India, which is the father of all the is, and now we are coming to Indian Penal Code provisions. Here's few of provision I have given because this provision is again legislation had took a further step ahead and then made a elaborated special acts in respect of them. So very famously, everybody know about section 376 of IPC, which deal with the rape and which give punitive and the monetary fine, both the punishment in that. Kidnapping section deals with 363 to 373 for kidnapping and abduction for different purpose, illicit relationship, or you for any other purpose, any way without obtaining a consent, or in case of minor, consent doesn't matter. Section 302, 304B of IPC deals with a dowry, homicide in relation with a dowry deaths, and their attempts. Why I'm not dealing here? Because there's a already special law coming next slide where the Dowry Act and all these elaborated acts are already taken. Section 498 IPC torture for both mental and physical, where many movies are come out on the basis where the dowry claims are made falsely and lot of things happen. We come to the later. 354 IPC molestation in the form of stalking, molestation in even in a form of touching, verbal or expression, that's covered in 354. And 509 IPC section deals with the sexual harassment to the woman. So when we are dealing this, these are the general provision made in the Indian Penal Code criminal, which is a criminal substantial act, and which deals with the punishment as well as the fine of the same. Let's go to the next slide where the actual articles and this provision, when they felt not sufficient and the special laws are created, looking into our provision of constitution and incorporating the elaborated version of these sections. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah. So these are the main socially and most probably we are working also to work related few of the acts I have taken. So earlier slide we have seen the article 4 sorry section 498 deals with the dowry, that's mental torture, mental or physical. So here the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 was created to prohibit the request, payment or acceptance of any form of dowry. S- a limited scope was seen in the 498A, and misuse is also seen. Looking in the our culture, especially when you talk about India, we are progressive in nature, but still the somewhere some form the system of dowry do exist, whether it is a lower caste, a lower level, middle level, or creamy layer, or any caste and community. Still, people are accepting and giving a dowry. To prohibit that, the special act is needed to formulate in 1961, and that came into picture, which punish even giver and the taker of the dowry, and anybody can make a complaint. Let's move to the next one. Is a Immortal Traffic Act. Immoral Traffic Act is related to sex workers who are in sex. Uh, I'll leave sex workers. But what is the best part of this act is like this act provides about the rehabilitation, rescue of the sex workers and bringing them into mainstream, providing the alternate training and alternate uh, way of livelihood and bring them into mainstream of society. Next is domestic violence from the protection of women from domestic violence act 2005. This is most widely right now, everybody the moment they have some problem or other problem in the family, they go with this act. The thing is about when you're talking about domestic violence act, it is extension of Section 498, again, I will tell you that 498 deals with the mental and physical torture. Whereas when our legislature felt that woman doesn't go only mental and physical torture in a family, she has to go through economically deprivation, socially she was deprived the company, and so many other things which is not covered into the general IPC. And to ensure the Article 14, right to equality, Article 15, making special provision for the woman, and Article 20, right to life with dignity. To ensure those, the our legislation, government and came and enacted the legislation, enacted the Domestic Violence Act, and the whole purpose of it, it doesn't only related to, so it doesn't only related to the violence against mental or physical, or but it includes the social, economical, and also mental. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're
Hello.
audible. Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was. So this provides protection to the wife or female living partner from domestic violence at the hands of the husband or male living partner or relative. So this is one aspect, is like in our society we see there's a marriage is not compulsory to live two adults together consensually. Where this act include the living partner, and you can claim a right against the male living partner or his relative too. The law also extend protection not only the woman or the wife or the live-in partner, but it extend to support to the sisters, widows, or mothers who live under the same roof with the male, and they can go through and they go through the abuse, whether physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, or economical. And you'll surprise many times when court find out this in this act, actually woman just has to go to the police station, or every region has given a protection officer they can approach, and they can tell this is my problem. And the protection of, they don't have to go to the court, or they don't have to hire the lawyers also. The protection officer files their report to the court, concerned court, and on their report the matter is heard, and many times on the very first day expert orders are passed when the substantial uh, fact is shown that she has deprived the what is she is entitled to. And this is one of revolutionary kind of act which I feel, which gives a very in very uh, fast track kind of matters takes, and gives a relief to a aggrieved woman very fast way. Next comes to the uh, okay, the sexual harassment of women at workplace, prevention, prohibition, redressal act 2013. Uh, Many of you might have, if you have did research, in 1997, there was a judgment passed, and the Vishakha versus state of Rajasthan, when guidelines were laid down, when a woman is working at workplace, certain things has to be, certain guidelines has to be followed. It took from 1997 to 2013 this act to formulate and get into the passed by the legislation and come into enforce. This act actually provides about the uh, protection to a woman who is working at either private sector or public sector from any kind of sexual harassment. And the sexual harassment is not only the having sexual relation, but even the making colorful remark, showing visually something, or just a verbal expression or non-verbal any expression which which actually divert to the sexual which is considered as sexual harassment. And it contributes to realization of their right to gender equality. The whole purpose to bring equality at workplace. Just because you're a woman, you don't have to go through any kind of remarks, or just eh, uh, any kind of sexual remarks. I'll go through I'll denote like this. And your life and liberty and equality in working condition has to be uplifted at the same par as the men. The whole purpose the whole intention of this work act to bring this give effect to this rights of women. The sense of security at workplace will improve women's participation in work, which will result in economic empowerment and inclusive growth. This act has a broader way. It is included and not only the working woman in the workplace, private or public, but also the student in school, student in college, even the patient in hospital, or sports person or sports related any activity. It has wide range of coverage, and you can claim your right if you go through any kind of sexual harassment which makes you uh, uh, uncomfortable, or you can go and approach your and as per this act, your employer has to have a committee. If the employer has a 10 working people with him, and those committee will take the complaint and decide within 90 days, and within 60 days next steps will decided by local authority and district authority. The thing, if you do the why it is important, because now many of the corporate they have now made a policy only. They have a separate committee who looks after complaints come under this act and sexual harassment, and the whole Rizal forum is set up, and they are answerable to the whatever that comes to the district committee and district and local committee. That's how the supervision is also done. So it is whole intention is to give a very friendly, give a very protective environment of women to work, so they can work on their upliftment, they can work on their well-being, and they can economically self-reliant. At the same time, they don't have to feel, oh, why I have to go through like this as a woman. Then it comes to Special Marriage Act. A Special Marriage Act, when we talk about it, we many of society have accepted intermarriage or interfaith marriage. But still, when you think about India as a whole, India is still struggling between out of caste marriage and out of community marriage. There are so many cases which comes about the honor killing and many things. But Special Marriage Act is gives the empower both male and even female to, if they are age of attending marriage, they can marry to a person any belonging to any faith, belonging to any religion, and their marriage is registered under this act, and even divorce procedure is laid down. So it gives the protection. Even if you're getting married and something doesn't work out, the protection is already given. The whole purpose is that, so whatever the difference between community and the caste and the insecurity in the people are there, that can be reduced, and we can come more closer to. Then comes to the Maternity Benefit Act. Some or other way, when we grow up, if we decide as a woman to have a child, but many times we are at the peak of our career, or we are at place of career, we don't want to leave it. And having a child, if we go, the fear is always in our mind. If we go for family planning, and then I come back, whether I'm able to absorb in the say or able to work in the same capacity or not, and what will happen when I'm on the leave. So this was given a very good thought, and 1960 and 95, this act was came into force, where employer has to make a provision, as I said, as a sexual offenses at workplace. Even in this also, many of the organization has made a provision, and their organizational policies are there, where the fixed numbers of weeks paid leaves is given to the woman. Prenatal and postnatal care and benefits are provided to women. And many of organization have started after maternity. When the woman comes back, she should be come back to the organization and can start her career again. So this is the very big steps even the organizations have taken. And your government, see, the legislation made by government, but ultimately organization and the lineage which comes to the follow, that has to follow. And when it is followed, and ultimately it gives the courage, okay, with the career I can have my family, and even after having family, when I want to go back, I can go back to my work. So this is the liberties given by this act. Then comes to the medical termination of pregnancy. So as a woman, I always feel ki my body is mine, I have to decide. And when it comes to termination of pregnancy in a family, many times the social pressure is there, many times family doesn't agree. But you have to understand, every female has a right to terminate a pregnancy in good faith, not just because many times pregnancies are terminated because somehow they find out what gender of the fetus is, which is again a separate law and deals with it, which is a crime. But in a good faith, like if you don't want to become a pregnant, or it be mistake, or whatever the other reasons are there, till 12 weeks of pregnancy a woman can, in good faith, can go and terminate pregnancy. When it comes to 12 weeks to 20 weeks, two doctors opinion is required. But I feel ki this is the empowering woman when she wants to have a child. And this should not be misused in the name of finding gender, and try to terminate just to avoid uh, particular gender, not to have particular gender. So this is empowering woman, taking in charge of her own body and to decide when she wants to have a baby. And then comes to the Equal Remuneration Act 1976. When I told you that these are the acts which actually gives whatever our fundamental and legal rights enshrined in our constitution, these are the acts gives elaborated form and their effect and penalize provisions. So we already saw that in Article 39 A and B, where the equal pay for equal work is already is a state's duty to provide it, and Article 42 to provide just and human work condition. These are the this is the act where the provision of woman provision is made that a woman is working at the same level with a man, doing the same job in the same organization, has to be paid the same remuneration. So this is a big thing because many times we find a woman's payment is always lesser than the male counterpart. So these are the acts which is already there, and we have lots of other acts which are again I will say it's working, and people are taking using their right and claiming their right, right, and they have successful. Even can we go to the next slide if you don't mind, Rishabh? Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So these are the acts, special acts made by, we discussed the special act made by the legislation. Now see the how many special provision or policies are made by the government, which is actually sole intention of empowering women, improving their growth and decision making ability. So first comes National Commission for Women. National Commission of Women is a statutory body of Government of India. It generally deals with the prime objective of to represent the woman's right in India and to provide a voice for their issues. The subject of this their campaign of a national commission, it generally includes dowry, politics, religion, equal representation of women in job, and the exploitation of women for labor. Uh, it looks after the best part of this is like this is online forum also. If you have any complaint, you can just go to their site, National Women Commission for Women site, and you can launch a complaint, and that has to be redressal. It's actually kind of redressal forum which look into your problem and solve. And many times looking into in general problem, when it become in general, it advise to the government also what policies or what legislation has to be made. So in short, it reviews the constitutional and legal safeguard for women and recommended remedial legislation measures, what new laws has to be formulated to empower women or facilitate whatever the complaint is given by them. So this is more, they are act as advisory to the government, and through and also uh, address the grievances of the women. Next comes the Department of Women and Child Development in Ministry of Human Resource and Development. They have created one policy, that's National Policy for Empowerment of Women. The goal of this policy is to bring about the advancement, development, and empowerment of women in social, economic, and political and cultural aspect. When it's social, society's aspect, teaching a society how will society is what are the women's right. When it's political, when the government is formed or certain legislation comes which is not good for women, they can raise always their grievance and can be a part of the decision making. It's give decision making power to the woman. Equal access to the participant decision making of women in social, political, and economic concern of the nation. Equal access to the woman for health care, equality education, and even quality of education, career and vocational guidance. So it who overall aim is from the child when girl child till she like from womb to tomb kind of how government can make a policy for upliftment of child from early age till every step of her life or empower her, that is look after by this uh, poli- uh, policy and this ministry department. And best part I like it woman is given power to raise any decision when the legislature making any law to interfere and give their opinion what will affect the that legislation will affect the woman. This uh, this gives empowerment that power to a woman. Can we go to the next slide? So the question here is provisions and so many fundamental legal rights and impose so many duties on the citizens and on the government to make laws in favor of women or even the government has made so many legislation we have discussed earlier, and government is trying by different policies and different committee to address those problems. Why still this gap is exist? When you talk about judiciary also has uh, when there is a gap between and defined giving a right to woman and it is very restricted in a act or legislation. Judiciary step up as activist and they have expanded liberal interpretations given to statutes, and the right of woman is ensured by the even judicial. Even apex court has many cases, landmark judgments where the uh, in general customary those things may not be followed, or when you're taking the literal meaning of those words is not include those things. But apex court and our judicial system has recognized a woman has to be protected, and they have liberally interpreted it, laws in the acts and even the international convention, and they're sure that women get their right. In spite of all this effort is made, why we see still there is a maternal death, why is the girls are married below 18 years, why women think it's okay if a male beats it's okay, society accept it, I can't raise my voice. Why this question of discrimination happens against women, violence and so many actions, derogative actions happen against women. Why this is happening? That point and that question always comes in my mind. I deals with the cases where many times the problem is less of law and more of the misunderstanding, lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. So how we deal with it? And this my understanding is like problem is not that we don't have enough laws, but lack of awareness about our own rights, lack of will or afraid to take steps to fight for what my family will think, what society will think. ये तो चलता ही है. If my grandparents, my mother have gone through it, I have to bear it. If I have to sustain in this organization, I have to keep mum. There are some of the grassroots problem we always face. Or above all the result, I think so. There's a lack of values. This arise because of lack of values and awareness, especially in women. Can we go to the next slide? Hello, can we go to next slide? Thank you. So here I shift to the, we have discussed what the law has given, what our protection is given, but now we shift to the role of society and how the society is empowering women. As an advocate, my understanding of the law and legal provision and curative nature. When you have some problem, you approach court, and then your matter is heard and you get a justice. Whereas an individual, family, and society can play major role to empower women. Being part of Divine India Youth Association, a movement of Allwell Gayatri Parv, as Anupama introduced me, was fortunate enough to look closely to various social traits existing in the society and also work on various social initiatives to solve those traits. So female forticides and girls education is a big question mark in our society. Still today, even we have a strict law for that. Thank you, Rishabh. We have one program we run, that is Avogade Sanskarvan Pedi, which deals with the when the fetus is in the womb. From that moment, how the family should accept it and how the nurturing can be done, which goes to further next level is Bal Sanskar Shalas and Prod Shalas. Bal Sanskar deals ki whether is a male child or female child, what is importance for education, what is importance of giving moral values to this child. So the child should not think that ki, if female counterpart is more less or inferior to that. The who both of them have equal should be given equal opportunity in calculating those values, imbibing those values of compassion, care for each other. And then praudshalas where the adults are educated more on giving what is their responsibility to society and what is their particular responsibility to coming incoming fetus and also the kids in their family. We have the project district on project district on is which works on our perception and upliftment of women, kids, or even we will go to many social evils whatever they exist. Project Samvedna. Project Samvedna, I said, since we have said the Immoral Trafficking Act and how the girls are misused, we have worked with many NGOs uh, and they have come out like we don't have a less of money. May people come and donate, but the problem is like my girls who was rescued from the flesh trade and who are rescued from some condition. What and they are for them it's money we get funding, but when it comes to upliftment or them to accept in mainstream of society, we want to educate. Education is one part, but the imbibing values like compassion and care is more important. And they have asked us and we have formulated modules to help them come back, understand their problem, address them, and bring them back to the mainstream of society. And we also work with elderly, orphan people, orphan children's. And again, the same thing. The whole thing is based on the values. I feel care and compassion is one thing where you can change a person. Monetary help helps, but it is limited purpose. But once you give the courage, once you give the your love to that person and you share and give the motive, they are more motivated and they are more committed to their goal, and they work hard to come back out of that and come in the mainstream of de-addictions is one of the program where we try to provide medical assistance, counseling, and more. Many of the domestic violence happens is form of de-addiction. A de-addiction is not only about the taking substance. Many of the de-addictions are the behavioral also. When you're talking behavioral, many people have that what I'll say, even sexual urges. So how to guide them and how to counsel them, how to assist them and make them understand. So these are the grassroots level what we focus, that evil should not start only. That will accept me, whether my family will accept me, whether I will be able to do it or not. focusing on value-based education, seminar, women empowerment, human excellence. These are the main we do in the school, colleges, and corporates. And as a Diya, we have also started since right now we are in the condition where a lockdown in Mumbai condition is like we are totally in lockdown. We have started a platform, a thought platform for thought leaders, where the people from their own life, they have made a change in their own life, and that change had affected thousands of people, motivated thousands of people. And when we hear those people who has brought change in their life and they become a leader, is not just called leader, but actually they have, by their action, people call him leader and they recognize him a leader and they follow that path. So this this all the initiative when I'm working, I found the family support, organizational support, if you're working in organization support, plays unparalleled role for empowerment that cannot be replaced with anything, any law or anything. When I give my example, I myself is born in a family of four sisters and one brother. Frankly speaking, my parents are not well educated, not matric also. But my father had an ambition. My children should study because we didn't have an opportunity. My father and mother didn't have an opportunity. They want us to study, and they encourage us. In spite of, I come to the society where the girls' education is, after matric, घर का काम सीख लेगी, and let her do, चौका बर्तन, and वो ससुराल में जाके वही करना है. This attitude, they came out of this attitude in spite of not well educational. They had that motive, my kids should study. So we are four sisters and one completed their education. And my family has to go so many taunting from the society, but they bear for our betterment. When you call about how the family empowers a woman, this is the live example with me that my family empowered four of us sisters for educating. When it came to choice of our partner, and they allowed us to select our partner. And this is the how you can empower your daughters. How and when my when I was very young, I was very much inspired by all this why a woman should give dowry, because I had a father who is more motivating to us to cross the line what is generally society marks for the woman. And it was my declare wherever I marry, we will not give a dowry. Declaring in our caste that my daughter, we will not give any dowry, is like accepting that my daughter will never get married. So in spite of that, my father stood by me, and he clearly whoever came to for seeing me, clearly told them that if you are looking for dowry, my daughter and we will not give. We think it's a social evil and we will not give it. uh, this is this kind of empowerment a woman needs. It's not that some gives some education, you get chloric certificate, and then you say ki, aha, now I am empowered. No, no, the empowerment has to be from you within, that you can do it. Your family has to understand that what decisions you are making, those decisions are properly well informed decision, and they support it in spite of even societal attributes are that those are not accepted. When I came into profession and practicing, so a girl who studied law is a different part, and coming into practice is one of the big question for the family. But my in-laws supported me wholeheartedly to pursue my career in spite of we deciding having kids. They promoted us to take, us means me and my husband, to take a decision for having kid at the right time. This empowerment we are looking at, so we as a woman can look for our overall growth. I was fortunate enough that in my life, my mother, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my even my office contributed for my support for overall development as a woman, raising two kids, as a uh, advocate. My office has supported wholeheartedly, because we as a I also involve in a lot of social initiatives, and my group, all this is always motivating and supportive, and that's was where the empowerment lies, where a woman is well educated, having family responsibility, still fulfills her professional duties, and actively working for upliftment of society. That's empowerment of women for me. And I'm so proud of it that uh, at this moment I will only say ki as a woman, when we think about it, we should make sure when I empower, I always thought that at least in my circle, 3 women in my touch should be empowered. Whether it's more, encouragement, whether it is giving them help, whether giving them education, and that's what principle I followed in my life. At least 3. And that one message I will also give it to you all. Make them empowered, not just because they need it, just because you can do it. So we need a focus, and for this, basically all the evil start when the values are less. Focus on imbibing good values, cultural values in his sons and daughters both, not only daughters, sons also, because tomorrow your daughter and son both are going to have a life partner, and they both should be treated equally. And they should brought up such way, they should bring support to each other. Can we go to the next slide? Rishabh, can we go to the next slide?
I'm on the slide 12. Oh, hello.
Yes, ma'am. Slide 12.
It's next one.
Oh,
These are
next
certain
slide.
initiatives DIA
Okay.
takes is, and
Yes,
these are
ma'am.
certain initiatives we International Women's Day we celebrate with the schools and women's, and roles and responsibilities. Now we come to our almost end of the presentation. These are few of the leading ladies in India who have done miraculous when they are supported. And it's not that just because they are financially strong or they are well educated. Few of them, if you see this Tai Sindhu Tai Sakpal or Rahi Bai Sona Popre, they are not educated also, they are not studied also, they are illiterate women, but they have come with the one motto: I have to support me. And while supporting themselves, they have encouraged thousands of women who have come together and with working hand in hand with them. She is a mother orphan, the pink dress, Sindhutai Sakpaltai, and Rahibai, she is a seed mother. She has native seeds, indigenous seeds of India, where we have all hybrid seeds. She have saved them, and now she has 3,000 women, 3,000 different forum where they work on the seed, and they are working as an agricultural activist. So all is from education till illiterate, and from very less resource to the multiple resource. These all ladies have achieved one thing in common, that they empower whatever they had, they empower themselves. Their family supported is a secondary, but they empowered themselves. They took a decision, they stood by it, they worked for it, and they achieved it. And by that, then automatically the family support is must, if you ask me. But even without family support, they were able to achieve it. So as a woman, I will give only one message: believe in yourself, you can do it. And once you believe that, you start acquiring those knowledge, you start fixing goals and working towards continuously working towards achieving those goals. When you start doing it, nothing is impossible for you. And today or tomorrow, with consistency, you will reach what you desire. With last We can move the last slide. So women empowerment, we have I just sum up, like, law support is there, legislation support is there, your constitution supports you, but ultimately we all need to be aware of our rights. And in spite of aware of rights, we should be free to approach a right forum to get our right. And also, at the same time, when the society comes, as an individual, you should support yourself first. Your family should understand. You're in the family. The problem, many times we feel the problem is that women don't support women. That's the main problem. Yeah, if a woman decides in the same time, some other woman objected. Woman has to understand कि values to your whoever comes in contact, give them courage, give them motivation. Money is not everything, but a courage, a single word of courage, single motivation, giving confidence, that creates miracle. And believe me, it works miraculously. And last with the sentence, be the change you want to see. Hum badlenge, yug badlega. If you want something to happen, start working for it. Be start with yourself.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, are you there?
Hello, Gayatri ma'am.
Yes, my team ma'am has a network issue. Anyways, we thank ma'am for a wonderful talk, and
Maybe she is joining.
I'm just joining. I'm just joining sometime. So if you have any questions, so I request you all to write in the chat box window, and ma'am will be joining us, so she can take up the questions. And
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
yes, ma'am, are you there?